Buenos dias and welcome back to GCTV, where you already know we get it in, right? Before we get into the content of the day, I want you guys to hit that like, subscribe button, put your notification bell on all so that way you're directed in the direction of all the dope content that I'm bringing. And let's get into it. Now, I really don't touch on subjects like this because this is women's business. You know, when it comes to women's business, I feel a man should stay the fuck about their business. It's very unbecoming of a man to really involve himself in women's business, man. If they're going to get down, if they're going to get off because they're mad for some type of situation or whatever the case may be, it's best if a man leaves it alone. Because at the end of the day, man, when you involve yourselves in women's business, you end up being the one caught up on the situation. So, Jenny 6ix9ine and Miss Lady Pinkz, Pinky Rose, right? There was an incident, a situation that occurred where I guess, you know, Lady Pinkz allegedly felt some type of way about the type of people that that Jenny 6ix9ine was hanging around with or listening to their music or representing, basically. And you got to understand, man, from everything that I've heard, because I don't know this woman personally, Lady Pinkz is a real one. She definitely feels a certain way about certain situations, and she's always stood 10 toes down on it. You know, when it comes to SPM and you know, the frivolous nature of his case and what he's caught up in, you know, she's going to feel some type of way. Most women do. Most women don't condone that. Most women act ladylike when it comes to that type of situation. And we all know what he's incarcerated for. Now, whether it's the truth or not, that's neither here nor there. What is here is the fact that Miss Lady Pinkz definitely is staying away from that type of situation. Now, Jenny 6ix9ine was she was in a music studio going to record or doing a podcast or something of that nature. I haven't really delved really into it or did my homework on it because to me, like I said, man, it's a situation where I've seen it a million times before, and we're going to get down to that. But allegedly, Lady Pinkz ran up on her and a homegirl, and got to swinging because she felt some type of way. Maybe she was waiting. Maybe it was get off on sight. Maybe it was, you know, I'm not going to go looking for this chick, but if I happen to run into her or I see her, I'm going to get off. Now, a lot of people on social media are speaking on it. They're talking about it. They're putting their 2 cents in. I've seen several women go on podcasts talking about, you know, how about me? Come see me. I'll take that fade for her. Isn't that the case? People always want to jump to the defense of somebody when they don't know the situation. They don't really know what time it is. So what if these 2 women got in an altercation? So what if one woman felt a certain way, she has certain morals and values and standards that she rides on? Not everybody is the same. But, you know, that's the story that's being put out there by several individuals, that the reason that she ran up on her and caught her with the good one was because of the fact that she's representing SPM, or that she listens to his music, or that she doesn't pay attention to, you know, all the bullshit. Now, you got to understand, in this world, man, not everyone is in that life. Not everyone is entrenched in gang banging or politics, or not everybody is following the same type of rules that some people may follow. Some people are civilians. They're just doing their music thing. They're just doing their comedy thing. They're just doing their social media platform thing. So you can't hold them to the same standards that you live by if you're in the streets or if you're in the game. You know, it's well documented. It's very well known that Lady Pinkz definitely represents, you know, a sureño way of thinking. You know, she definitely represents a political way of thinking when it comes to, you know, being around her homies, her camaradas, her peoples. And there's rules and regulations she must follow according to her agenda, according to what she believes in. Now, when you're trying to juggle a whole lot of different things, when you're trying to be a recording artist, a rapper, a social media butterfly, or whatever the fuck it is you're trying to do, it's hard to juggle all those different things at one time. But if you're a real one, if you choose to do that, if you take the initiative to put that out there and do that, then you have to. That's just what it is. Now, with Lady Pinkz, I have nothing bad to say about her. I've only heard nothing but good. You know, she's been rapping for a long time. She's very well known in the game when it comes to rapping in Southern California rap. She's been around a lot of real ones. She continues to carry herself in a righteous fashion. And this shouldn't hold no bearings on her character. You know, she has reasonings for everything. But let me tell you a little something. One thing I noticed, right? When it comes to women and their problems and their issues, isn't there always a hint of jealousy? Isn't there always a hint of, you know, they're tripping off one thing or another? I remember one time, man, being with a chick and we're in a restaurant and says, I'm facing this way, she's facing that way. I'm not even paying attention to the door, what's going on. I'm too busy looking at her chichis, and a chick walks in, and the first thing I see is her eyes lock on like the Terminator, right? On this chick, and I can see that she's looking at someone, but I'm paying no attention. It's none of my business. And as the girl walks by, of course, the first thing out of her mouth is, bitch, you ain't cute, right? You ain't all that. They don't even know each other. But isn't there always, when it comes to women, most women, man, some type of competition? They're very competitive, very territorial and competitive, you know, and then the next thing you know, I'm getting told, you better not look at her. Bitch, I'm just so scared. She does got ass though, right? I haven't even looked yet. Of course, I'm going to take an easy, breezy, beautiful cover girl type look. So bam, and then push. But, you know, most of the time, the guy wouldn't even know that that woman was in the building or pay attention unless the other chick brought it up. So there's always a piece of a competitiveness of competition when it comes to women. I've noticed that. I'm not necessarily hating or jealousy, but the word for it is being competitive, you know, being very territorial of their man, their situation. You know, when it comes to Jenny 6ix9ine, she gets a lot of hate because of her looks, because of the way she was able to elevate her status on social media. But she did it the hard way, just like all of us. You know, she worked at her craft. Yeah, maybe she got because of her looks. Of course, you know, sex sells. Of course, people are going to give her the benefit of the doubt. You know, she can't sing worth shit. She might not be as talented as Kim Kardashian isn't, right? But because of her looks and because of what she displays, sex sells, man. Of course, men are going to notice. People in the game are going to notice. And if she has that look and she has that twist and that turn, she's going to be able to get indoors that we necessarily wouldn't be able to get into. That's just that's the part of the game that's ugly, but it's the part of the game that's real, you know? So there's always going to be an animosity there. I notice a lot of women talk shit about her or disrespect her or feel a certain way about her based on the fact that, you know, she's getting some credibility in the game for just being her and doing her. Now, you can't be mad at that. You know, that's pure hatred if you're mad at someone else because of the way they look or because of the way they dress or because they got what you want or you got what they don't have or they have what you don't have. And that just becomes ugly and it becomes overbearing. And eventually, man, someone's going to explode and you start to formulate a hatred towards this person. You don't get better, you get bitter. Now, I'm not saying this was the case and this is why these women had this altercation, allegedly. What I'm saying is, you know, it sure does meet the eye. And there's always more to meets the eye, gente. There's always going to be, when it comes to women issues, it's usually over men. It's not usually over money. It's usually over men. It's usually over the way a woman looks. Someone's upset with the way that maybe her vault was paying attention to her, or the fact that they just don't like her situation because she thinks she's too cute. When it comes to Jenny 6ix9ine, of course, taking the 6ix9ine persona of the 6ix9ine name, man, is already going to put you behind. It's already going to label you. It's already going to tag you. People are already going to trip. But from everything I heard, she's a civilian, man. She's never been in the game like that. She's not trying to portray herself in the game like that or live that lifestyle. She's just basically doing her thing. So anyways, you know, whatever Miss Lady Pink's issue is with Jenny 6ix9ine, I'm sure it will be resolved over time. From everything that I've heard, man, Miss Lady Pinkz ain't the type to talk it out. She's a real one. You know, she's definitely going to swing it out. Now, the situation of her homegirl jumping in, that's to be expected. Most women do that. You know, it's get off where you're mad at. It's all jump, one jump, all jump. You know the situation. We could sit here and talk about that's a cowardice move. She should have, you know, handled her business by herself. She shouldn't have hit her from the side. There's a lot of different things that could have happened and should have, would have. But at the end of the day, you know, when you got a homegirl or a homeboy and they're mad at a situation, you already know what it is. Let's go. It's go time. It's fucking go time, man. It's always been like that. You know, as a youngster doing time in the California Youth Authority, we had one of our #1 rules was one jump, all jump. Didn't matter if there was only one vault, the homes, jump them, get off on them. But there's a lot of people that think that's watered down, or that ain't gangster, or there's always going to be people that question your moves, your movement, what you do. It's part of life, man. You have to take the he said, she said, and just keep on breezing by. You can't let people dictate your program or worry about what you got going on. You just got to roll with the punches, man. Now, the bigger issue here, or I don't really think it's a big issue, but the issue that people are putting out there is that Jenny 6ix9ine supposedly and allegedly called the authorities, called the cops on Lady Pinkz because of this situation. That's to be expected, man. When you're a civilian, what do you think is going to happen? Anytime that you take flight, or anytime that you get into an assaultive behavior, or you're going to go in and you're going to handle your business, you have to understand that police come with it. They come with the situation. You have to be a man or a woman and stand on your 10 when it comes to that. You have to understand and know that in this era that we live in, cops are being called immediately. It's just what's happening, you know, and especially if it's a civilian. If you snake on a person or catch a person slipping and you get off because you're mad for whatever reason, and the reasoning behind it really doesn't matter, you know, that's always going to be, you know, in someone's train of thought. But, you know, authorities being called, it's going to happen, man. You know, there's no way around that. Now, people like to judge people by being a rat, or telling, or expose them for saying too much. Or when they're a citizen, man, when there's someone who's not in the game and has never played and doesn't have that street mentality, what do you expect? You know, do you think that they're not going to call the cops if they get beat up? Do you think that they're not going to ask for help? Of course, you know, that's what happens. If someone steals your next door neighbor's car, you think they're not going to call? Are they a rat because they called the police? If you have nothing to do with it, it's none of your business, man. It doesn't mean they're a rat. They're a civilian, man. That's what the police are there for, to help civilians. But people don't look at it that way. They look at it as a situation of, especially people that live by the streets, that if you are a cop caller, or, you know, they label you, you know, automatically on social media. That's the thing nowadays. You get labeled, you get tagged, man. And then people don't want to fuck with you. And because you're not a real one, you're not a gangster. And not everyone is a real one or a gangster. Some people are just normal. Spencer, sorry, that's just the way it is. Jenny 6ix9ine is a civilian. Quietly as is kept, she's nothing special. She ain't above the law or beneath it. She's just a regular person trying to get her bag, doing her thing. Now, Miss Lady Pinkz, her homegirl jumping in, like I said, is to be expected. What are you supposed to do? But I don't think Miss Pinkz actually needed the assistance. I think she could have handled that 115-pound girl on her own. But you can't stop your homegirl from doing what she does. You know, if she fucks with you, she's gonna fuck with you the long way. You know, and that's just how it is. You know, there ain't not a person watching this show right now that ain't never been involved in an altercation where, hey, perhaps you had the upper hand and your homeboy or your homegirl jumped in, and it is what it is. You know, time moves on. Are you a real one and you're a gangster for jumping someone? Yet if they're a civilian and they call the police, they're not a real one because they're trying to get assistance. Now, I know law enforcement, anytime law enforcement's involved, man, it becomes tricky and real sticky. And it's nothing that we don't want to see anyone incarcerated, but we don't want to see anyone get hit from the side or anyone get hit either. When you're trying to work and perfect your craft and do what you do, there's a time and a place for everything, you know. But nowadays in social media and the era that we live in, it's all about catching people lacking and slipping and handling your business, you know. It's just what it situation hitting the internet, and this situation becoming viral and becoming what everyone's speaking on. Like I said in the beginning, man, I don't really like to talk about the women's business. You know, whatever the fuck they were mad about or they were upset about is their thing. You know, we can't judge what they do the same way as what we do as men. You know, men things are men things, women things. I understand everybody's equal and everybody can get off, man, as this, you know, as you've seen here. But it's not a situation that people should be discussing, because when you're talking about who called the cops and the fight that happened, that's actually a form of dry snitching. That's actually a form of putting it out there. Like I said, this is all allegedly. I don't even know if this altercation really took place. This could all be fabricated and propaganda for the monster of media, man, so that way everyone has something to talk about. You notice there's always something new to talk about. There's always a trend. There's always something going viral. There's always something new. That's the way of the world, man. We're going to find things to speak on. We're going to find things to discuss and to talk about. It's part of life. But in this situation, I respect both these women. You know, women should be treated with respect. according to the way they act. You know, there are some women that they ain't got shit coming, right? But with these two women, I've never had an issue. I don't know Jenny 6ix9ine from a box of cold cereal, right? And as far as Pinky Rose goes, anything that I've seen or heard, man, it's always been very respectful. And she stands on her 10. That's facts, you know, and I respect that. Now, the issue that everyone's speaking on, saying that this is behind SPM, I guess it seems like the closer SPM gets to getting out of prison or to getting a chance at a date, you know, people are bringing him up. I just did a video earlier today, man, speaking on the situation with him and Mr. Capone, you know, Capone being on that album. And again, like I said, man, just to clarify some things so people don't get their fucking panties all tonga la longa la longa. You know, sometimes you do a song when you're in the, you know, the rap game, you do a song and someone uses it for a compilation. This could be the case, but you can't be a proponent for disrespecting a man and constantly going in on them and then work with them. So if that was the case, you know, that's ugly. But irregardless, you know, when two women come to blows, you know, everybody wants to see it. Everybody wants to laugh. And that's what a whole bunch of people are doing. They're laughing at the women, thinking it's funny, man, thinking that really at the end of the day, there's no reason they should be fighting. But to each their own. This is the life we live. This is the world we live in now. People are going to do what they do, and you can't stop it. You know, as far as authorities being involved, from everything that I heard, it wasn't even a bad situation. She got jumped on, allegedly. It happened fast. And now everybody's in an uproar. Poor Jenny 6ix9ine, you know, a pobrecita, she gets fucking scraped, you know, for whatever reason. You know, we don't even know. Maybe she was talking shit. Maybe there was a situation where it was an on-site thing. It was a situation where she just didn't like the way her fucking breath smelled. I don't know. You don't know. But we can continue to talk about it all day, and it ain't going to change what occurred. It ain't going to change what happened. The thing for people now, too, is move on before someone gets really caught up, before authorities really do take a look at it, man. And it's going to be because of all the social media, rah, 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 and all the people speaking on it. And that's the reason why people get caught up. And that's the reason nowadays why the game is so watered down and it's not as thick as gravy. That's it. You know, as far as all these other chicks calling out Lady Pinkz, I mean, don't ask for something you might not really want. You know, don't try to gain clout off a situation that you're not involved in. If the fucking situation doesn't involve you, just stay the fuck away from it, man. That's one thing I've learned a long time ago, real thick in the game, is stay away from shit that doesn't involve you. You know, you can speak on what you want to speak on. That's the freedom and liberties of living in this great country and having social media as a platform. You can do and say what the fuck you want. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't really involve you, stay about the game. You know what I mean? For the game comes and really involves you and rains on you, and you don't need that. Anyways, with that being said, Gente, that's my 2 cents on that situation, man. I'm not going to speak on it no more. Women business is women business. Like I said, you know, if they want to fight, they can cat fight, Hums. If they don't, they don't. But, you know, before people come to the defense of one, you got to know exactly what's going on and the reason why. Yeah, the jumping situation, I can understand, you know, but what makes you think you're not going to get jumped? What makes you think that just the jumping is real? It just happens all the time. You know, it's part of the game. With that being said, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose, get everything that you want coming. And remember, at the end of the day, it's all about the strive to struggle and the struggle to strive. I'm going to continue to do what I does. New platform format. You know what it is, man. GC television, GCTV, man, for the people, by the people. Something new, man. Gunners Collective is a thing of the past, man. We have to breeze on by. Easy and breezy, man. We do this shit. And that's what it's going to be like, man. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive and struggle. And at the end of the day, man, in the words of the great Conejo, don't matter. All bitches rattle. Bang, bang. The gun. Respects. You know what it is.